Hey there, how there, ho there. It's Jeff Carradine. Welcome you to yet another Stone Cold Hockey video. And today we have ourselves the 1991 season, and we're doing the Pittsburgh Penguins playthrough. We have done 65 of the possible 80 games, as I keep burping. We have 69 points, not by design. We are tied with New Jersey for third in the Patrick, top four teams in each division. With the playoffs, Philly's only four back of us, and the others are 18 back. Montreal looking good with Buffalo, Boston, Hartford. It looks like Quebec is all but washed out. Calgary, LA, and Edmonton are fighting it out. It looks like Winnipeg, Vancouver will have a turtle derby for that fourth spot and maybe slaughtered by Calgary or LA or even Edmonton. Chicago, 25-point lead. It's almost insurmountable against St. Louis, Minnesota fighting for third, and it looks like it'll be Toronto, Detroit in the fight for fourth place. But let's see. 67 goals by Brett Hull in 65 games. Dave Gagne is close to 50 goals. Mike Gardner, 44. Patrick Beak, 41. We have 21 players with 30 goals. Our best goal scorer is Mark Rickey with 28. Points wise, Gretzky and Hall are fighting it out. Sacking it out. Also fighting it out. Mark Recchi is 6th. Well, Dale Hawerchuk's at 79. Recchi's at 79. So, Recchi's trying hard to stay in the top 10. Goes against Ed Belfour, Patrick Waugh, Kelly Rudy, your top three starts. Can't believe Waugh has a better goals against than Kelly Rudy, even though that Rudy has 5 freaking shutouts. We have played 65 games. The only team to play less than us is Calgary with 64. Winnipeg's already played 68. Detroit's already played 68 games. We get a game in hand on New Jersey, so we should be able to get third place and maybe a match for Washington. I don't think we should face the Rangers. We have scored 256 goals, 230 against. We are tied with the Rangers for the second most goals behind the Calgary Flames. Our big problem, 230 goals against. That's the most in our division, second worst in our conference. Quebec's at 251. Winnipeg and Vancouver have more goals given up in that league. Minnesota, Toronto, Detroit. We are 17, 10, and 6 at home, 13, 16, and 3 on the road. So when we're at home, we're doing pretty good. Tied for third best in the East. I mean, our conference. 52 shutouts and all that. Sergei Fedorov, last 4-goal game against Chicago. 9 games at 30 points. Nothing has changed since yesterday. Washington Oilers December the 1st with that Oilers 4-1 lead and a choke job. Detroit Hartford 6-5 Hartford. Buffalo Calgary 6-5 with everything going. Edmonton Hartford 6-5. So those four. Um, Schedule wise, we are in Calgary. We started a road trip. We lost in LA. We won in Vancouver. Now we're in Calgary. Cast my mind to Calgary, where we shall play this game. Wendell Young Kitchener is in net against Rick Wamsley, the backup goalie. Mike Ferdinand and Tom Brasso are not playing this game. Steve Gannett, the number 3 for Calgary. Brasso, number 1. Frank Pietrangelo, number 2, in essence. So Wendell Young, first goalie to win the Mem Cup, the AHL Championship, the IHL Championship, and the NHL Championship. Our players, Mark Recchi, pretty good goal scorer. Kevin Stevens looking pretty good too. John Cullen, before he went to Hartford, who soon got the yeah, it's getting close. I think March 5th is coming up soon, so we'll lose Cullen. Yager, pretty good player. This was his inaugural season in the NHL. Did you not know that? Paul Coffey, Kitchener. That's right. Once half a season with Kitchener. Bob Erie, Phil Bourque, Mario Lemieux coming back from injury. Joe Mullen, former Flame, in essence. Randy Gilhead from West Germany. Last year, you could say that before saying Germany. Sorry, Slavsky will lose him soon. Scott Young, around Brian Trottier, leaving the Oilers for the Penguins. Troy Loney, Yuri Herdina, former Flame. Tony Tanti will be headed for Buffalo soon. Rob Brown will be coming by soon. Barry Pedersen will be headed for Hartford. You know, the former 50 goal scorer that Vancouver mortgaged so much on, they gave up Cam Neely. Larry Murphy, Paul Stanley, Gordy Roberts, Peter Tangolani. We'll have Francis and Samuelson come by soon enough. Calgary with Theo Fleury, the little 6-ball thunder. Joey Nieuwendyk around for many years. Sergei Makarov, who won the Calder Trophy despite the fact that he was 32 and a Russian superstar for the KLM line in the World Championships. So basically, they changed the rule to 26-year-old Al McGinnis, Kitchener, Gary Roberts, a health freak. Well, he spent 2 years being away from the game because of neck problems. Dougie Gilmour, who the Flames had, and then through a contract dispute, they had to trade him in Toronto on a 10-player deal. Robert Reichel, Joe Otto, Stefan Matteau. 3 years later, he will have a goal-scoring bench with the Rangers. Paul Brandheim, Brian McClellan, Gary Sutter, Mark Hunter, Jamie McCallum before he went to Toronto, Frank Musil, Jim Sweeney, Rick Natras went to Toronto, alongside Rick Wamsley, Paul Fenton, so many teams for him, Tim Hunter, the veteran tough guy, Roger Johansson, Sergei Pryakin, and Ronnie Stern. And then that's Sapper, and now Jim Kite. Here we go, Kerry Wilson. 5 minutes later, a fight between Paul Coffey and Ron Stern. Surprised that Paul Coffey would want to fight. Damn you. But we score. You got the booze and Gugger. I got the booze, I Jaeger. Ooh, number 28 from Colin and Becky. 2 minutes later. Aggression. And we score. He got it like a racky ball. All he wanted was to score some goals. It's 29 from Herdita and Mullen. Came in like they scored. Good deal with Thompson and Makarov. Much later. Stopped by Wendell. Nicely done. 4 minutes into the second they score. Joe Otto. 3 minutes later. Skiers. He ate Solon. His name is John Cullen. His 23rd from Erie. 4 minutes later. They have a chance to tie, but no. 3 minutes later. Session. And Calgary gets penalized. It's Gilmour. Did we take advantage? Damn it. Mullen and Loney can't do it. So we're up 3-2 after 40 minutes. So hopefully we can beat those guys. If beat them, we will. 3 minutes into the third. Oh, go. That's the time. That's where we go to. Manheim is third. Closing in. Skiers. Feel the thrill. His 22nd from Colin makes it 4-3. 1 minute later. Well, the best guy to do is Gilmour. 3 minutes later. Aggression. Like it worked. No. No. Just a hit. Jim Kite. Do we score? They have a touch it tonight, and we go to overtime. And yeah, this is the era. No loser point. We win. Steven. Oh, Musil hit Stevens. You still have a chance. Another penalty. It's Gilmour. Forgive us. All the chances. There we go. Score. Overtime. Then Alex. Yuri Hardino. His 7th from Recchi and Yager. And the Pittsburgh Penguins win on prolongation. We were up 2-0. They scored twice. We were up 3-2 and 4-3. Calgary didn't have the lead at all. So we did it. We beat the Flames, who were supposed to be a tough opponent for us. But no, we didn't. Calgary took too many damn penalties. And I thought we would be in Edmonton. That's what I thought. Leafs win on Hockey Night in Canada. That's okay. March 4th. March the 5th. One of the most important days in Pittsburgh Penguins history. We host the Canucks. Well, the Canucks are one day away from making one of the biggest trades in team history. They have Troy Gamble in the nets against Wendell Young. So again, Young in the net for Pittsburgh. We made a gigantic move. This is the day that Pittsburgh got some new players. And John Cullen would be and Rob Brown are on their way out the door. And Slavsky's supposed to be out the door. He was a Whaler too. Why the hell is his name not crossed off? Francis and Samuelson will make their Pittsburgh debuts today. The Canucks, they have Trevor Linden, starting number 16 in your programs. Greg Adams, who was a hero 3 years later against the Leafs in the conference finals. Dan Quinn. I think he went to. Yeah, Dan Quinn would be. This is his final game with Canucks jersey before heading to St. Louis. Steve Bozek. I think he was still a Canuck at the time. Dave Capuano, Igor Larionov. People remember his time with the Red Wings and Sharks, but he was a Canuck at first. Robert Cron, number 58 in programs. Brian Bradley left for Toronto. Kitchener. Jay Masur, Gary Falk, Peter Nedved was still a Canuck. Jim Sandlak, Kitchener. That's right, Jim Sandlak was a Kitchener Ranger. Gino Ojic, the bruising guy. Doug Lister, Garth Butcher, before he had to St. Louis, this is his final game. Ronnie Momesso and Corno will be on their way to Vancouver. They really need players. They're 17, 42, and 10. Yikes. Jurgen Lube, Tom Curvers. Leaf fans curse that name because if it wasn't for the one of Curvers, the Leafs would have had their first round pick in 91, which was third overall, and they would have probably had Scott Niedermayer. Petri Skirico, Gerald Diddick, Stan Spiel, still around. This was his final year. Adrian Plasek and Robert Normark. Yeah, Kirk McLean, the last true stand-up goalie. Bob Mason was a Canuck. I didn't know that. Steve McKitchen and Steve Weeks. 2 minutes into the game. Adrian and a 5-minute major on Troy Loney. So the Canucks can score as many times in 5 minutes. Well, that didn't work. And they have a chance. They're blue dino. And there's a fight between Ojic and Paul Coffey. Coffey, why are you fighting? We need you. And Derek Killers from Quinn and Curvers. Dan Quinn will be headed for St. Louis, but he might do it on top. 1-0. 3 minutes later. Kelly, Papa Crosby goal. I do run. Yeah, that's number 23. Yeah, he's making an impact. Coffee and Take a Lady with the assist. I do run. I do run. 3 minutes later. Pressure? Eliana Samuelson. His first penalty as a Penguin. And Linden gets whacked. No harm, no foul this time. Erie is in the zone. Idaho zone. Let's get a penalty. It's Ojic. No. 1-1 after 40. Power play goal. Even Stevens, his 24 from Mullen and Coffee. 4 minutes later. They try and they fail. 3 minutes later. Aggression? They trip they score. Robbie Cron has 6 from Lume and Greg Adams makes it 2-2. 3 minutes later. Damn you. And they score. Masor from Capuana and Curvers. Tom Curvers. Fuck. Samuelson. 2 minutes later. We have a chance, Recky. Ugh. See that? Good goal from Francis and Coffee. Retired. And we go to to the magical 5-minute period known as overtime. We did it once. Are we going to do it again? Oh, no, they don't. Not this time. We get a dreaded tie. Francis with 2 points, Samuels with a pair of penalties. We tie. Bad news is like overtime is like kissing your sister, so the ties are not good. Our next game is against Los Angeles. Gretzky comes to town, and we have to simulate because a tie or a loss. Next game must be simulated. Emily's 4-1 as Barrasso listens to Bethune. Bork from Coffee and Selevsky, the only goal for Pittsburgh. Tonelli, Grado. Damn it, Gretzky, 2 goals. Fuck. Vancouver won with the first games with those guys. Saturday night is not all right. We go to Hartford. We have to face John Cullen. We have to face Rob Brown. And we win 5-4. Wendell Young beats Dorkowitz. Hartford goes for Verbeek, Mark Hunter, Verbeek, and Cullen, knocking 1 goal past us. Rob Brown with an assist. Rob Brown with 2 assists. Our goals: Lemieux, Bork, Erie, Murphy, and Kevin Stevens. In essence, none of the former Whalers got points against Hartford, but we still won the game. Montreal shuts out Vancouver on Hockey Night in Canada. Toronto loses on Hockey Night in Canada. Quebec loses on Hockey Night in Canada. I think we played the Pittsburgh, New York Islanders. This will be game number 3. Radich. Pittsburgh and the Islanders. Radich. So we have Frank Pietrangelo in the net against Jeff Hackett, who really couldn't hack it on Long Island. And that's why they left him in the expansion draft and the Sharks picked him up. Glenn Healy, usually the starting goalie. 3 years later, he would win the cup with the Islanders. Mark Fitzpatrick, who only played a few games, and then he came back and won the Masterton for perseverance. George Menelik and Danny Lorenz are your net runners. The Islanders have Pat LaFontaine in the net, Randy Wood. Both those guys would be going to Buffalo, I think. David Folek slows molasses, but he was the hero 2 years later with the Islanders taking out the Penguins in the Stanley Cup quarterfinals. Brett Sutter is still around. Pat Flatley learned the dance. Derek King, former Leaf, future Leaf. Ray Ferraro, who got robbed of being the first player to score 3 straight overtime goals in 3 straight playoff games in 93. 1 goal went to Brian Mullen. Bill Berg, future Leaf. Hughie McDonough from New Hampshire. Wayne McBean, Dave Shosowski, Mass of Flop. Tom Fitzgerald, another future Leaf, alongside Randy Wood. Brad Lauer, Jeff Norton, Joe Ricci. Brad Dargarno, Johnny Tucker, Ketchener. Bet you didn't know that. Gary Nyland, former Leaf, high pick, but knee problems ruined him. Mick Fukuda, Craig Ludwig, known for shin pad Charlie, Ken Bumgarner, Rich Pilon, Greg Parks, and Don Maloney. Here we go. 2 minutes into the game. We're blue dive. We're on the road, and we can't score. Now look at the Islanders. Much time. Score! Sunset, sunset. His 11 from Coffee. He shouldn't be on the team, but he is. 3 minutes later. Chance for us? No. And then the others? No, sir. Not this time. We get a chance. No. Chance. 9. We cannot do it. We cannot do it. 3 minutes later. Aggression? Roberts got aggressive. Hey, the chance. LaFontaine. No. Killing the clock. Others penalty McBean. But we can't score. Maybe it's back under 14. Next to stop the goal. I want to get up. Tie. 1-1 through 40. Can we do it? I hope we can. 2 minutes later. Pittsburgh penalty is Ricky. Ah! Until 38. 4 minutes later. That's what usually happens. 3 minutes later. 4 minutes later. Left on team does it again. Pulls at 40. Yeah, I think we're going to lose. Not so fast. Stevens, his 26 from Samuelson makes it 3-2. We still have time. Brady Gillen with 21 seconds left. Deutschland über alles. His 12 from Mullen makes it 3-3. We go to overtime. Wow, you don't see that every day. 3 straight overtime games on the TV. Overtime heroics. Forever young. I want to be forever young. His 11 from Troy Loney. Loney the Looney with the assist. And the Penguins beat the others. Opera Lakashion. We were down 3-1 with a minute and 36 left. Stevens scores, and then Gilhan and Scott Young is the hero. 3 goals in the span of 3:27. Wow. They thought it was going to be easy. But was it? Well, our next game is hosting Montreal. And we are at 76. It's a dogfight for third. We still have a shot. And 37. So we have 10 games left. We have an outside chance to catch the Rangers, but I don't think so. We're trying to catch Washington for second. New Jersey's only 1 back of us. The Flyers are fifth. They're 2 points back of New Jersey, 3 points back of us. The others, I don't think we'll catch. No, they're 18 back. Yeah, I think they're pretty much done. Montreal looking pretty good. Boston Buffalo fighting for second place and maybe home ice advantage. Hartford will probably face Montreal. Quebec can't move on. LA and Calgary. Man, LA's putting up numbers. Edmonton basically is third place. Vancouver leads Winnipeg by 3 points in the Turtle Derby, and they have the same amount of games. In the North, Chicago's got it all wrapped up. St. Louis pretty much has second place wrapped up. Minnesota, I think, has third place wrapped up. Toronto might have fourth place wrapped up. Greg Hall, 74 goals. Dave Gagne, 51. Mike Garner, 49. And Ricky's got 29. Well, we're losing points. Belfour, Beaupre, Rudy, your 3 stars for goaltending. That is number 1. Barasso's 19th. Peter Angels, 28th. 31 goalies. 31 active goalies. Kirk plays 5-20-6 with a 3.22 goals against, and more than a 23 game winner in Mike Vernon, who has a 3.4. How the fuck does that happen? It doesn't. I don't get it. I just don't. Well, we have 10 games left. We better make the best of it. Anyway, I'm going to do.